What's up, Garrett? Let me give people a minute to come in. What's up, Sophia? Cryptolin. Steven. Thanks for the likes coming in. What's up, Captain Trader? Nice to see you back. And give people a few minutes to hop in. Jason, welcome in. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and hit the share button too if you'd be so kind. And follow me on here if you haven't, because eventually here, I'm just gonna go live. I'm not even gonna go live on TikTok. I'm just gonna start my live and end my live right here on YouTube. I feel like this platform is more, it's a better place for crypto people. I need to find the YouTube notification bell. It's on there somewhere. Should be, I think usually when you hit the subscribe button, then it turns into a bell and you just click it again. We got 17 people on here. I'm gonna give it just another minute to let people find their way on here, because we really are gonna pick up right where we left off. And I want people to see what I'm about to dive into, because what I'm about to dive into is pretty enlightening. Does it predict the future for sure? No, but you'll see. You'll see, you know, when I said before on the others chart, or the total 3 chart, which is all of crypto added together with Bitcoin and ETH removed, you know, what's all of crypto worth if you don't include Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is a pretty good gauge of the whole altcoin market. And I talked about how we're at 1 trillion, and I think we could get to 3.5, maybe as early as end of August, early September. And really it's this chart right here, the others chart, which is all of crypto added together if you remove the top 10 crypto coins. So that's really dialed in on true altcoins, which is, I'm guessing, where many of you have a good amount of your portfolio, myself included. And this is the chart that really showed me, like, whoa, why is it showing me that end of August, or like basically Labor Day weekend if you live in the United States, end of August, early September? Why is it pointing to that? Anyways, so we got 38 on here. I think all of you that are gonna be here are here. We're gonna dive into this chart now. This is the others chart. Remember, the others chart is all of crypto added together, excluding the top 10 cryptos. So this is a real altcoin market gauge. And right now it's worth 289 billion, right? Remember, all of crypto is worth just under 3.8 trillion with a T. All of crypto, excluding Bitcoin and ETH, is worth just over 1 trillion. And then all of crypto, if we remove the top 10, is worth 289 billion with a B. And I really want to bring your attention to this and this. So watch this. So going back here, this is March of 2024. Let's go to Bitcoin real quick and see what happened in early March of 2024. Maybe you guys know off the top of your head. Well, March of 2024, look at that. Bitcoin made a new all-time high to almost 74,000, right? This whole big leg up. Interesting. March of 24, again, going back to others, peaked March of 24. And then we went into a downtrend. You see how price really stayed in this channel right here? This is what's called a descending channel, descending parallel channel. And parallel channels are one of my favorite things because they give me a range of where price is going to go. And look how nicely it stayed in this high, low, high, low, high, low, high. Didn't quite come back down, and then it broke out. Oh, here it broke out of the channel. Do you see that? Put a 1 in the chat if you see that, how it broke out of the channel. It's very important that you understand this. You see all the way from March until right here, September, right? So April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months later, it took 6 months for price to break out of this channel, right? This is the others market cap. All of crypto added together minus the top 10, okay? Broke out. And then what happened? Well, it went sideways for a bit, all the way till November, and then boom, went right up here in December of 24. And as you can see, I've connected these two lines, that top to that top. We'll come back to that. But you'll see that this all really started. The signal was, hey, we broke out of the channel and confirmed out and then chopped sideways for about a month, right? This is end of September and this is beginning of November. So we chopped sideways for about a month and then we took off. But it all started right here, identifying this channel and that we broke out, okay? Now, again, we topped here in December. What did Bitcoin price do in December? Crossed six figures, didn't it? Got to 108 and then made a double top in January. Okay, see that? Lining up pretty good, right? March, high for Bitcoin. March, high for others. December, high for Bitcoin. December, high for others. You getting that? Are you getting this? And then what happened? We've been in another descending channel. For how long? December till, look at this, we broke out. Till when? Till May. January, February, March, April, May. 5 months. Over here, right? This was March till September. So April, May, June, July, August, September. It took 6 months to break out of this channel. This one took about 5 months. You can see it stayed nicely in the channel till it broke out, stayed nicely in the channel till it broke out. And then we chopped sideways, went down a bit, and here's where it's getting really, really juicy. This is where it's getting really juicy. Are you guys tracking so far? Let me know in the comments. Are you tracking what I'm putting down so far? These patterns. Let me know. Because I'm about to show something that if you don't understand that, you may miss it. I see yeses coming in, yeah, fire. Okay, so had that high in March, Bitcoin hit 74,000, new all-time high. Then we went into a descending channel for 6 months until we broke out of the channel. Chopped sideways for about a month, took off. Here we have the top, new high for Bitcoin, 108,000 in December, went into a descending channel for 5 months, broke out. And now we're chopping sideways to down, and now we've come back up. Look very carefully at this one. What did it do? Broke out? I said it went sideways, but really if you look close, it really kind of went down, didn't it? Kind of went into a slightly downward pattern for about a month, and then it took off. Well, what happened over here? We broke out in May, and we went down for about a month, and then we started going up, and now we started taking off, making a new high, right? A new high. There was the high, broke above it. There was that high, broke above it. What happened after it? You see the patterns. Breakout, boom. Descend, breakout. Now, why do I say end of August, early September? Because when I measure this, how long this took, because I think we're right about here. Right? We broke out there. I think that we're right about somewhere around this little area right in here, okay? If this pattern holds up, but so far, I have no reason to doubt it so far. It's come up to resistance, which you can see right here. It did meet some resistance about right here. Chopped sideways for a few days, went up, chopped sideways, made its final leg over the course of a week or so. Now, we've broke above, making a new high, hitting resistance. So from this area right here, this was in early November till early December, about a month. Well, where are we right now? We're about mid-July. So about a month from now is about the end of August, right here. End of August, early September. And this trend line, if it stays on that, then that's going to bring others from 289, where it is right now, 289 billion, up to 550 billion, which is almost a double. Do you know what that's going to do to your altcoins? And there's nothing crazy seeming about this. I see this as being very, very possible. Either way, this price is going to find its way up to this trend line, whether it's here or out here. If it's out here, then it's just going to get even higher. But these are the patterns that I identified here on others. And so when I went back here to total 3, which is all of crypto, excluding just Bitcoin and ETH, that's when I lined up for the same day, right? End of August, early September. Up to this channel, like look, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Well, if that date adds up, that's going to put the total 3, which is all of crypto excluding Bitcoin and ETH, up to about 1.7 trillion, which is about a 70% gain from here. Seems quite possible, right? Low, taps it, taps it, taps it, taps it, taps it again, and now it seems to be breaking out. You see the same kind of thing happen here. Tapped it, went sideways, broke out. Up, tapped it, broke out. So again, this kind of shows me we're in about this area, which would give us about 70% more in the overall altcoin market, and then the deeper altcoin market from here would give us about 100%. This is the type of thing that if you can learn this type of stuff, and it doesn't get learned overnight, if you can learn this type of stuff, you will have such an edge over 99% of people in any financial market. And anybody can learn this stuff. It's just a matter of deciding to do it. And then putting in reps. I look at charts like this all the time. I read this like I read a book now. So currently, I don't have any, I have to stick with this as a base case. It looks to me like the deep altcoin market cap others should get somewhere between 5 and 600 billion by Labor Day, which is end of August, early September. Looks like the rest of the crypto market cap should get somewhere around 1.7 trillion, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. But where then? Let's look at the total crypto market cap. Let me draw another line real quick. I hadn't drawn this one yet, and it just occurred to me. Let me look. So, if all that plays out like the charts are showing me, the total crypto market cap, so that's all of crypto added together, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, that would put it around that date, according to this trend line, there was the March top, there's the December top, would put us somewhere around 5 trillion by the end of August, early September. And you want to know what? I don't think that's even like the end of the cyclical bull market. I think that's the next leg up. And that would be very, very nice. Where would that put? Let's do some just simple math. So if the total crypto market cap goes up to 5 trillion, total goes up to 1.7. So 5 minus 1.7 would put us at 3.4. So, and where would ETH be? Where's ETH at right now? I don't know where that would put ETH necessarily. Maybe ETH finds its way up to like 5,500. I don't know where ETH would be. But ETH plus Bitcoin would be about 3.4 trillion. And what's Bitcoin's market cap right now? Let's look. Bitcoin's market cap is currently 2.4 trillion. So, and what's Ethereum's? Four. So right now, Bitcoin plus ETH is 2.8 trillion. So that would add another about $600 billion in market cap to both of them. I would expect maybe 200 of that to go to ETH, maybe, and 400 of it to go to Bitcoin. So that would put Bitcoin at about a $2.8 trillion market cap, which would put Bitcoin price around 150. Does any of this sound like completely crazy to you, or does it sound within the realm of possibility? Let me know, drop in the comments. And then I have a few more charts to look at. Which, by the way, that would put ETH, at about 5,500. Bitcoin around 150. And something that's really important, well, I'll wait for you guys to answer. Does that seem reasonable? I mean, let me be very clear. In everything else in the world that isn't crypto, that's completely unreasonable. Those types of gains in that period of time. But in crypto, it's like, yeah, that's reasonable. And it's not even like, it's not crazy at all. That's why we're here. But the biggest problem people make is they try to get 50, 100 X's all the time, and they aren't happy with 2, 3, 4, 5 X's or 50% gains in a 3-month period. For crypto, that kind of it makes a lot of sense to me. And we're talking a month and a half from now. So everything points that way to me right now. I will be watching it, obviously. And if it starts to invalidate that momentum, that trajectory, I'll let you know, of course, because of course I'm going to be looking at it every day. So let me move on to a couple other charts. This is one that we really want to look at too. This right here is called stablecoin dominance. Stablecoin dominance. And currently it's at 5.93. Okay? What does that 5.93 mean? If stablecoin dominance is at 5.93, what is that number? Is that a dollar amount? What is it? What is that number, 5.93? Very important to understand this. Most people don't. Nobody knows what that number 5.93 is for stablecoin dominance? You could hit me with one character, and that would be the answer. No one knows? So before I tell you what it is, I want you to understand, Tyler got it, that I know most of you don't know. And this is me giving you a warning, going, there is so much out here that you don't even know you don't know that is essential to understand. So be careful and get yourself educated. Not a joke. I don't know how long you've been in crypto. Probably a lot of you more than a year. And you don't know what stablecoin dominance is? You're learning about the wrong stuff. Because that's something you should learn first week in crypto. And most people don't. You're not alone. I know you're not. But that doesn't make it okay. It also makes you much more educated, informed, and dangerous if you do know it. So Tyler got it. He said percent. So 5.93, that's the current stablecoin dominance. That's the percentage it makes up of the total crypto market cap. Okay? When stablecoin dominance is high, typically prices of Bitcoin and other crypto coins are low. And if it's really high, we're probably in what you would refer to as a bear market. But if it's really low, we're probably in a pretty bullish environment. These gauges, remember, on an airplane and instrument panel, this is a very important instrument to use. And if you've been flying in crypto, not even knowing what the stablecoin dominance instrument is, then you've been flying partially blind. And that's not the only instrument part of the panel you have not known was there or know what it meant. So again, I say this to you, above all else, get yourself educated and continue being educated. If your only thought is to come on here or somewhere and go, what's your price prediction for X? I'm gonna tell you right now, you, my friend, are most likely fucked. Okay, 5.93. Up here, guess when this happened? Super high. June of 22. That was during the Luna collapse. Market was really scared. It was in cash to the tune of 16.54%. Very high. And ever since then, it's been coming down. So in reality, ever since then, especially since right here, we've been in a bull market. And then we had a bounce, hit a bottom, hit a top, coming here. And we've been in this channel here. So what I really want to see is I want to see this drop and come down to at least here, which would be sub 5%. And I really want to see it come down here. See, this is the instrument panel I'm talking about. People ask me constantly, what's your price prediction for this? When would you sell? You know when I would sell? When certain pieces of the instrument panel are all setting off alarm signals. This comes into this range from here down to here, in other words, into the 4% range, I'm on alert. It's not the only thing I'm looking at, but it is telling me I need to be on alert. And again, most people don't even have no clue what stablecoin dominance is, let alone how to use it. Right now at 5.93, I would call that like neutral to slightly bullish. I'd call it kind of bullish. In a bullish environment, right? But it doesn't mean it's the beginning of the bullish move. The beginning of the bullish move started here. Without me lining up, right? When do you think this was? Right, here we are today. When do you think this was? You could give me the exact day without even looking. What day was that? And really, this tells you the market was afraid. Right now, the market's not afraid. It's getting kind of greedy. But right here, it was afraid. Right here, it was afraid. What day was this? This is the daily chart, by the way, 3-day chart. This, April 7th. What happened on April 7th? There we go, Cryptolin, it says liberation, yep. Well, it wasn't Liberation Day. It was a few days later when Trump said he was gonna pause the tariffs. That was April 7th. And that's when peak fear hit, and then we went into a bullish environment ever since. And on that day, I fucking shoved money at the market on that day. Because I knew immediately he just threw water on all the scared fire. And I could see other things like stablecoin dominance hitting this upper trend line. All these things lined up, and I just shoved money because the probabilities, the risk to reward was so in my favor and anyone's favor that decided to get in the market. That it's that type of fat pitch that I just stand there and watch ball come by forever, and then that fat perfect pitch comes, I swing. Because I almost cannot miss. And I'm probably gonna get a real good handle on it. That's the type of thing you gotta wait for. You gotta wait for your pitch. Thing is, most people are too afraid when that pitch comes in. But if you just look at data, you can know It's like counting cards. You guys familiar with, put a 1 in the chat. Are any of you familiar with counting cards in blackjack? Put a 1 in the chat if you are. Are you familiar with the idea of counting cards in blackjack? This is very important. Here's what counting cards is, right? There's the chute that has all the cards for blackjack in it. Well, when people count cards, they keep count of how many like face cards have come out, right? And how many non-face cards have come out. And when that ratio, because they know there's this many, they know there's like 7 decks in that chute. And they know when so many face cards have come out or when so many like low cards have come out, they know that the probabilities, the odds are heavily stacked in their favor that they're going to get 2 face cards. Get a really high number. So they bet really big because they know the probabilities are heavily in their favor. And that's why casinos don't let people do that. Well, when you know how to look at the right stuff, we're counting cards here. You know, well, we're hitting the top of this trend line. Stablecoin dominance is way up here. We're still in an overall bullish environment, and Trump just announced he's going to pause tariffs, and we're at this line. The card count couldn't be higher. Shove. Big bet. I'm about to get 2 face cards. I'm about to get a blackjack. Very, very hard to lose. And even more importantly, very hard to lose much in that environment. But now we've come down to here. And this is a real trend line. Stablecoin dominance could bounce from here. And if it starts bouncing, think of what's going to happen to the rest of the crypto market. It's going to go down. Whenever you see stablecoin dominance going up, rest of crypto is going down. When stablecoin dominance is dropping, rest of crypto is going up. Right? When did it bottom? Early December. Chopped up to sideways, money moved around in the market, and then by right here, it was definitely over, end of January. And then we went all the way to April 7, and we've been down ever since. So this is kind of due for a bounce to probably come up to about this level, about 6.25. And then the question is, does it come here or does it break lower? I really hope it breaks lower and comes down here. And then odds are it probably stops here at about 5%. But if it breaks on through, it's probably going to come down here. And if it comes down here, I almost want to say when. But if it ever comes down to there into the sub 4% range, the rest of crypto is probably in an extreme greed parabola, and it's time to get the F out. And I'm not even done yet. I'm not even done with the charts I'm showing you. I'm almost done. But these are the gauges on the instrument panel. Like I say, you fly a plane. There's gauges on the instrument panel. And you need to know what each of them say, and you also need to know how to put them all together to give you the big picture, right? Each of them is like a puzzle piece, and then when you put them all together, you see the whole picture. So right now, I sold all my hyperliquid last night. And so far, that's looking like the right move. Sold it near all-time high, within 10% of all-time highs. I saw things like Stellar Lumens, which has no business. I saw it flip hyperliquid. When weird shit like that starts happening, those are like side instrument. Those are like not, that's on the instrument panel too, I suppose, watching when weird shit like that happens. Those are like kind of the final signs, like, hey, you're about to, hit a mountain. And I think that we chop sideways to down here for a little bit. That's what the instrument panel is showing me. And if that makes you upset, you have no chance. You have no chance. Hey, by the way, please hit the like button. Let's get to at least a dozen likes. I'm not going to say a word. There's 19 of you on here, and we're at 9 likes. Come on. Let's get to 12. Hit the like button. Then I'll move on to the other charts to complete the instrument panel and put the puzzle pieces together. I still see 9. I see hearts coming in, but it still just shows me 9 likes up here, which is a thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. I see 10. 2 more and I'll get moving. You know, Charlie Munger has a saying. He said, in this world, there's 3 types of people. There's takers, counters, and givers. He goes, takers lose the most, counters break even, and givers win the most. And he goes, and givers are very hard to find. Can you at least, if you are taking all of this content I'm giving you, and you can't even give a like, you, my friend, are fucked in life because something's wrong up here. And that's most people. Amazing when you just give what just comes to you. I say to people all the time, I'm so selfish, I give a crap load. I'm so selfish because I'm so selfish. That's why I give so much, because I know that the best way to serve myself is to give a ton, because it comes back exponentially. So be selfish and give like there's no tomorrow. If you can't give a like, get out of here, you're fucked. I mean, you got to go walk through life. You got to go walk around and think about your life. All right, we're at 15. You guys are awesome, most of you. So next chart. This is Bitcoin dominance. This is a very important one on the gauge, right? If this is stablecoin dominance, currently at 5.92%, meaning it makes up, 5.92% of the total crypto market cap, which is just under 3.8 trillion. So stablecoins make up about 6% of that. Well, Bitcoin makes up almost 62% of that. This number. And when you see, just like when you see stablecoin dominance dropping, is a bullish environment. Same thing when you see Bitcoin dominance dropping. Because when Bitcoin dominance is dropping and stablecoin dominance is dropping, it can only mean one thing. I'm gonna ask you real quick. If Bitcoin dominance is dropping and stablecoin dominance is dropping, that can only mean one thing. It can only mean one thing. Don't say alt season. Be more intellectual than that. Bitcoin dominance dropping, stablecoin dominance dropping, then what does that mean by default? Where's the button on an iPhone 14? I'm not sure. I think probably if you turn the phone sideways, it'll probably pop up and show you where the like button is. Well, Melendra says altcoins, but come on. If you don't say it, I'm not accepting it. Alt season, nope. I told you that ain't gonna work. Be more specific. You're making assumptions. And you may think I'm being semantics, but I'm not. It's so important to be accurate. Because if you're a little off your accuracy, you're fucked. Money is moving from Bitcoin to ETH, etc. Correct. AKA more money is going into altcoins than into Bitcoin and stablecoins. Money is leaving and or going into slower into Bitcoin and stablecoins than altcoins. Because the entire crypto market cap is made up of Bitcoin plus altcoins plus stablecoins. That's the entire crypto market. So if stablecoins are going down and Bitcoin dominance is going down, then altcoin dominance must be going up, AKA the percentage altcoins make up of the total crypto market cap. That doesn't mean altcoin season. That does not mean altcoin season. It just means in a period, altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. That's all it means. Even though Bitcoin can definitely be rising in price, just altcoins are rising faster. That doesn't mean altcoin season. Altcoin season is once altcoins are increasing at a certain faster rate than Bitcoin. Just because they're increasing faster than Bitcoin doesn't mean altcoin season. But when they start increasing by a large amount compared to Bitcoin, that's altcoin season. We have not had that yet. We may not have that. Just to be straight up, doesn't mean you can't make a lot of money. And this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Really bottomed here in May of 21, and then double bottom, triple bottom, quadruple, quintuple bottomed in November of 22 after the FTX debacle, right? Here was, where's Luna? Yeah, here was Luna. And then boom, FTX debacle, and it's been up only since November of 22. Almost 3 years it's been up only, really shot up. But look at this beautiful channel here, right? Really started here back in the summer of 23. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Broke out a little bit, faked us out, went back. See that? Come on. What's going on here? Why is that not loading? Why did that disappear? I don't even have a touchscreen. Why'd that happen? Maybe my internet went to shit. Oh, come on, come back. I was just making the point. There we go. Right, and now we've been having a dominance drop, but we haven't broke out. This was a fake out here, right? This was in November, December, right here. This was a fake out. We're like, all right, here we go, alt season, baby. Me too. But then boom, holy shit, did it rebound? Did money flood back into Bitcoin and out of altcoins so fast, right? Bitcoin dominance went from 54.5% in December to 64%, went up 10%, went up 20%, excuse me. 54 to 64 is a 20% increase over the course of 2 months. And then chop, 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 and now it's coming down here again. Came down to a low so far of 61-ish. But we're still in this channel. Until it breaks out of here and confirms a breakdown rather, then it's altcoin season. This was a breakdown, but it didn't confirm. What do I mean by confirm? Well, it broke below the channel, and in order to confirm a breakdown, we need another candle to break below that spot. Excuse me, to close below that spot. And a close is, see, this is a wick, but this is the body of the candle. That bottom part of the body, that's the close. And on a blue candle, the top part of the body is the close. On a breakdown though, we need the lower part of the body to close lower than here, then that's confirmed breakdown. And then you would expect it to come down to here, which is about 52% to 48% into this range. If it comes down into here, I can almost say, I can probably say when it comes down to that level. Low 50s, high 40s. That is a gauge on the instrument panel that's screaming, alert, 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 and by fucking God, you need, do whatever you want. Me, I will be taking money off the table, probably 80% of my money off the table, into cash, into stablecoin. And then I'll put it somewhere where it's getting nice passive yield on the stablecoin. Waiting for my next fat pitch, which might be months and months away. Stablecoin dominance drop, Bitcoin dominance drop. So I'm going to put it all together. This is a lot, I know. Like, and frankly, this is what I'll be talking about pretty regularly. And if you're familiar with me, I talk about this stuff all the time because it's a never-ending study. It's a never-ending study. And it's almost the only goddamn thing I study. Because it's fine-tuning my awareness to all the different gauges on the instrument panel so that I can understand what's going on in any given moment and understand where it's going and where it's not going. You guys dig it? I'm going to sum it all up and put it together. Put a 1 in the chat if you were watching me on TikTok and then came over here on YouTube. Put a 1 if you did that. If you were watching me on TikTok today and then came over to the YouTube stream also. Crypto Man did. Cryptolyn did. Tyler did. Sophia, yes, you do. Anytime you take profit, you have to pay taxes. Melendro did. Ida says, 1, does it correlate with current events? I mean, yeah, usually, but you don't really need to know about it. These charts can predict the future. Like, well, it looks like something's going to be coming, and then it does. And it's like, oh, that's the thing. So I don't really pay attention to news. News more confirms what I was already looking at on the charts. I don't know where I am now, TikTok or YouTube. We're in YouTube. Sophia said yes, she came over. So a lot of you came over. That's awesome. Trader says watched one live stream from TikTok. Oh, maybe you just follow me and watch me on YouTube. Then I'm going to be doing more over here. You're welcome. You're welcome, Claire. Okay, so I'm going to sum all this up. Put it all together one more time, quickly. So. Obviously, we look at Bitcoin price and ETH price, okay? But these aren't really what I want to look at. I want to look at the total market cap as well as trend lines. And right now, we had a top, a breakdown, a top, a breakdown, and now we've had a breakout, right? And so eventually it's going to come up and hit this line. And I think it's going to hit it somewhere around late August, early September, based on the next charts I'm going to show you. But I also want you to understand, I don't think that's the top. I think that there's a very good chance that eventually this comes all the way up here. And this might be by the end of the year, right? Right here is about 5 trillion. See, about 5 trillion. And right now we're at just under 3.8 trillion. That's a really nice move. But when shit gets really, 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 really crazy, I kind of expect this to come all the way up here, right? And here's the end of the year, if say it happened by the end of the year. That put us somewhere around 13 trillion. Right now we're at 3.8. So that would be about a about a 4x, roughly 3.5x from here, which would be insane. And to go over here to the total 3, which is all of crypto, excluding Bitcoin and ETH, see it's been nicely trading in this channel since October of 23. Low, high, low, high, low, and now we seem to be on our way up. And you see how fast these legs took off, that leg took off. We seem to be somewhere around here, but over here. And so I expect this to come up here. And if we look at the same trajectories of the past two, then I would expect somewhere around end of August, early September to be where total 3 lands, which again is the total market cap of crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right now it's just over 1 trillion. This would put us at about 1.7 trillion. And again, I expect it to eventually come up here and hit this line, which say it happened by the end of the year, would be about 3.8 trillion, which would be damn near a 4x from here. Well, that adds up, because 3.8 to 13 would be about a 3.5x. I would expect altcoins to do a little better, so that would put them at more of almost a 4x. And then this one I expect to do the most, which is this is others, which is all of crypto minus the top 10. It's at just under 300 billion. I expect this to, yeah, come to this line maybe by the end of August, early September, which is 551 billion, which would be a nice, I don't know, 80, 90% boost. But if I zoom out, check this out. If this goes where I think it's going to go, I expect this to land up here at the end of the year. If everything lines up, it'd go from 291 billion to about 2.25 trillion, which is what? A nice 8x from here. And that all adds up. All of this seems to add up. But this is the first thing we got to get through. We got to get through this trend line on others, this trend line on total 3, and this trend line on total. Because if we can get through here, we're going up here on total. We're going up here on total 3, and we're going up here, somewhere between here and here, on others. So to sum that up, if this stuff goes right, the total crypto market cap is going to end up doing about a 3.5x by the end of the year. Major altcoins are going to do about a 3.8x by the end of the year, and deep, nasty, dirty altcoins from right now would do more about like an 8x, 8 to 10x by the end of the year. Am I guaranteeing that? Hell no, I'm not. I'm just looking at the charts, and plus the patterns of previous cycles, cyclical cycles, 4-year cycles. They always end at the end of the post-halving year. So if all this stuff, and by the way, everything so far is right on path, is right within the patterns. So I have no reason to doubt it until it gives me reason to doubt it. But short-term wise, looks to me like we're looking at Bitcoin about 150 by the end of August, early September, which would put ETH probably around 5,500, and put altcoins roughly at about a 1.7 to 2x from here. And then by the end of the year, if everything stays in the pattern, we'd be looking at nasty altcoins doing somewhere between an 8 and 10x. Regular altcoins doing somewhere around about 4x. And that would put Bitcoin, well, let me just do the math. If total is going to be, if it was 13, others made its way up to, say, 2.5. So it's 10.5. Well, it was a total, excuse me. Total would be up at around 4, so that would put it at 9. That would put Bitcoin and ETH adding up to 9 then. And Bitcoin would be most of that. Hard to say, but that would put Bitcoin probably somewhere around north of 300,000. And that would put ETH, let me think for a second. I'm not trying to like get you all hyped up and juiced up, just stay relaxed, because there's no guarantee of any of this. Let's see, we're at 120, 2.4, put Bitcoin probably at, what would the ratio of that to that be? It's about 20%. So 7, maybe just to 30. So I'd say Bitcoin actually be more around 7 trillion, and ETH would be somewhere around like 2. Wow. Which would put Bitcoin at, yeah, about 350,000. And would put ETH at around, let me look at the market cap again. About 15,000. within the realm, it's all within the realm of possibility. And it seems crazy from here. But I've been in crypto long enough that every time there's been an insane, crazy part. And it is, what's interesting is when you're in it, you're so drunk on it that it's hard to see that it is insane. But that's why you got to have the gauges on the instrument panel. Who's going to print this much money? The Fed, you mean? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't think about stuff like that because I have no idea. But it come from somewhere. Let me show you something. Who here is familiar with a money market? Does anyone here know what a money market is? Money market fund? So a money market fund is basically where people just park money with the Fed. It's basically what it is. And it gets a really nice interest rate. It gets, like, currently, if you just park money with the Fed, you're getting 4.25% on your cash. It just sits there and you can pull it out whenever you want. I mean, maybe you could put money in there, but you got to go through a broker or something like that. I don't know. I've never actually done it. I'm a crypto guy. I get more yield than that by using DeFi. Anyways, this right here is FRED. So that's the St. Louis Federal Reserve. And they track the money market fund going all the way back to the 1940s. And by about 1980, when we went off the gold standard, you start seeing it pick up. And it's been picking up ever since. We had moments of pullback after the dot-com bubble, after the great financial crisis, because money left money markets and went into deeply depressed assets, right? Buying 80% discounted Amazon stock, 90%, and then buying 50% discounted real estate. And then it chopped sideways until it went up. COVID, bought some stocks, and it's been going up ever since. Currently, this is money just sitting on the sideline, completely sitting on the sideline that could get deployed at any moment. And it's currently at over $7 trillion. But that's million. No. This is 7 million millions. It's over $7 trillion. There's one place where cash is literally just sitting there waiting to be deployed. And you don't need to deploy $7 trillion to move the market cap $7 trillion. That's not how it works. You know, to move a market cap $7 trillion, you'd have to deploy less than 10% of that into it, roughly. So, you know, $1 trillion net inflow bid in crypto could push it up $5-10 trillion. You don't need that much money to push it. And look at everything lining up. This was crypto week. Today's Friday. It was crypto week. And 3 essential, historical crypto regulation bills got pushed through. And this president, he wants to pump his bags. Love it or hate it, that's the truth. Before you throw a stone and judge, guarantee you pump your bags all the fucking time. You're just not as effective at it as he is. No one is. So I want to be in the bags that he's pumping. And it's clear, crypto bags are getting pumped. You know, slowly at first and then all at once. And so when I talk about, you know, Bitcoin going from 120 to 360 by the end of the year, that sounds crazy to the rational, logical mind. But markets are not rational or logical, especially at the crazy times. There's no rationale or logic. It is all hype and craziness. And that happens eventually. And if you don't think, if you don't think crypto is going to eventually have another moment like that, it's always had one, and it always ended what you would call the bull market. It's a cyclical bull market, not a secular, not a long-term, a short-term bull market into a short-term bear market. But those short-term bull markets end with that crazy mania, and it's happened every time. Is this time going to be different? I don't know. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. I'm open-minded, but until it confirms a breaking of the pattern, I'm going to believe in the pattern. And everything I look at shows me the pattern is alive and well. On the charts, and when I just look around at people and the president, etc. And it's just a matter of being patient. The funny thing about making money in crypto or investing, you don't really have to do much. You shouldn't do much. You should be very sniper precision with what you get in, and then just fucking wait. Check it. Check it regularly, but don't obsess over it. When things get really overvalued, you'll be able to see it more clearly if you're not going crazy about it every day. When things get crazy undervalued, you'll be able to see it more clearly if you're not obsessing over it every day, being so in the emotion of it. In the end of 2022, Bitcoin is in the teens, as low as like 15,700, and gave you an entire month to buy it at 16,000. On New Year's Eve, you could have bought Bitcoin for $16,000 and change. On December 1st, you could have bought Bitcoin for $16,000 and change. You had an entire month. And I was sitting here for an entire month trying to talk reason to people that they need to fucking buy. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess at what most people said to me every time as I tried to beg them to take their vitamins. And they said, no, I want toxic sludge instead. Guess what they said to me? Drop it in the comments. Most common answer I got by far. Too expensive. Good guess, but that's not what they said now. That would have been maybe even more absurd. There you go, crypto man. He said it was going lower. They'd always say to me, yeah, I want to get some, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go lower. I'm like, it might. Over and over, I go, it might. But let me ask you a few questions. And this is what I would do. Pay attention. This is how my head works. And it's worked very fucking well for me. So it's at 16,000. And most people by far are saying, yeah, I want to buy it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go lower, so I'm going to wait. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it might. Very real, it might. I don't know. But let me ask you a question. This is the end. This is December of 2022, and I ask this every day that entire fucking month on my live streams. I go, okay. Well, do you think that Bitcoin is going to have another bull run? Everyone would go, yes. And I go, okay, I agree, I do too. And when do you think that bull market is going to occur? They would say 2024, 2025, 24, 25, 24, 25. Everybody, and I go, I agree. And then I would get to the final question, and I would go conservatively. Conservatively, in 2024, 2025, conservatively, what do you think Bitcoin price gets to? 80K, 90K, 100K, 120, 150, 200. Almost everybody agreed it was going to at least get to 100K within 2 to 3 years. And I said, well, come here, ladies and gentlemen. If Bitcoin goes to 13,000, and you wait for it, and then it goes to 100 in 2-3 years, you're going to be happy? They go, yeah. I go, Well, if you buy it at 16,000, it goes down to 13,000 for a month or two, but by 24, 25, it's at 100,000, you're going to be happy? Then it would be crickets. Because they realize I just crushed their emotional limiting belief. It was complete illusion and delusion. They knew goddamn well they need to buy at 16,000 because if they weren't going to buy there, they were never going to buy. Because the lower it went, the more scared they got. Using the crutch of, no, I'm still smart. I think it's going to go lower, so I'm going to wait because I'm a fucking genius. You're not. None of us are. We're all dumb asses. Occasionally, we make intelligent decisions. And I just said, so Bitcoin's at 16,000. You all agree with pretty good certainty that it's going to get to 100,000 within 2 to 3 years. So either you believe that or you don't believe that. But if you do believe that, then that you're not piling in at 16,000 tells me you're never going to buy and or you don't believe Bitcoin's going to get to 100,000 in 2 to 3 years. Well, guess what? We're in 2025. Where's Bitcoin at? 120. Patience, emotion gone, logic. That recipe doesn't effing change. It doesn't change. Only you do. And you aren't going to change unless you change. Crypto Man says it's true. Even if it went to 8K, it didn't matter. Exactly. And I would also say, well, if it goes lower, buy more. It's not like you have to do it all in one go. People have fucking income. They go blow money on all kinds of dumb shit every day. Ooh, I want a new car. Do you? Do you? Do you want to dedicate a bunch of your future income to buying something that only goes down in value the second you fucking buy it? Is that really what you want to do? I have 2 cars. They're all old and used. Paid off. Been paid off for years. I have no interest in getting a new car. But it's so nice. I'll get a new car when that car makes me money. I have no interest. My money goes into appreciating assets. It wasn't always that way. I was a consumer moron like everybody else until one day a guy named Dr. John DeMartini put me something straight. He said, there's no secret to getting rich. Rich people just do one thing. They turn money into more money. I said, well, duh. Then he goes, well, here's what they do. They put their money into things that go up in value and don't put their money in things that go down in value. And I thought, what types of things go up in value? He goes, stocks, gold. This is before crypto. Was it? No, crypto might have been around, but it wasn't. He definitely didn't know shit about it, and I didn't know shit about it. It wasn't a thing. I was like, oh. In real estate. And I'm like, oh. He goes, but most people buy cars, clothes, shoes. They take out debt. And I'm like, you're right. And I felt angry because I realized I'd been tricked my entire life, and everyone I loved and cared about had been tricked their entire life into this consumerism illusion, which was really getting people to glamorize choosing financial slavery. I mean, no exaggeration. Do you think Bitcoin will go down to 50K ever again? I think the probabilities of that are very low. You guys want to go back to last summer? Last summer, Bitcoin's in the 50,000s. It was at 74 in March, came down to the 50s, even touched 49. But you had plenty of time to buy it in the 50s. You had at least a month and a half to buy it in the 50s. And I'm sitting here screaming like, look, this is a fantastic value at like $54,000. I'm like, this is a fantastic value. And then I'd go through some charts showing this is why. Look, this price we're at right now, last summer in the 50s, I said, if there's going to be another bear market, you're going to be begging and begging and begging for Bitcoin to come back into the 50s. And it probably won't. Let me ask you guys right now. What do you give the probability that Bitcoin ever goes into the 50,000s ever again? What percentage probability would you give that today? Drop in the comments. CryptoLink says 0. Ida says 25. 30 for Crypto Man. 10% Logan. I'd say less than a 20% chance that Bitcoin ever goes into the 50s again. And you want to know what? If it ever goes in the 50s again, most people will not buy it because they still don't get it. Most of you won't buy it as much as you think you will. I know the law of averages. I've been doing this for years. I know the audience. I know the general crypto speculators. I know it. And most don't understand Bitcoin and still don't buy in because they don't get it. Some of you don't get it, even though you think you do. But the truth is, when price goes down 50+%, do you buy? It's easy to say that when Bitcoin's at 120. But when it's actually at 50, most people shit their pants and are wimps. And or show the reality that they don't understand Bitcoin. I don't want to say wimps, they don't understand it yet. Because you're not buying it at 16. You didn't understand it. I was like, Merry Christmas for myself and my partner, right? Me and her, we bought a ton of Bitcoin. I got to be honest with you, I didn't really talk to my rest of our families about it at all because they're just so not receptive to it that I don't want to deal with it. I could have never got them to buy it. They never asked me about it. They still think it's a scam. All of them, almost all of them. My mom doesn't, but she doesn't get it, but she'd be down for it. She believes in me. She believes I'm smart. So she more believes in my faith, but she doesn't understand it. My brother, the one that originally got me into Bitcoin and ETH, he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore because he's like, no, the rich people have it. Because he's got all kinds of fucking money head problems. I'm like, it was always going to end up with rich people. That's why we got it. It was never going to go up in value unless we got the rich people in, but we got the chance to be in first, which is how we flipped it on the table. Now it's time to cash in. No, the rich people just have it. I'm like, you're an idiot. There's no helping. I love him so much. No helping. No helping anybody, really. I don't think I can even help you. Very few of you, any of us can actually help. Because really you can help yourself. And you can't expect to be a different you and have different results by being the same you are or you've been. Bitcoin at 150 all-time high, probability would be 60. I mean, it's inevitable that Bitcoin gets to 150. It's just a matter of when. It's inevitable that Bitcoin gets to $1 million. It's just a matter of when. It's inevitable that Bitcoin gets to $100 million. It's just a matter of when. I'm not saying this like that. It's as clear to me. It's as obvious because once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's as obvious as the sky is blue. Once you finally see it, but if you don't see it, you're faking it. There's never a bad time to buy Bitcoin long term. There's just never. And it's still early. When I talk about it, I think it will hit, I'm in my 40s. I think before I die, Bitcoin will hit $100 million per coin. Is $120,000 a lot when it goes to 100 million within like 40 years? Of course not. What a steal. But almost nobody's willing to wait. And because of that, they'll never arrive. What do you think XRP will do within the next year? Hopefully disappear, but that's not going to happen. I don't know. You know, if these projections play out, I would see XRP around $10. But that's like a 2.5-ish X from here. I mean, I'm at the phase of the market where, like, if I'm going to play in altcoins, I want like at minimum 5 to 10x. XRP, third biggest coin in crypto. I don't want it. I sold it. I bought it when it was really cheap and dusty and dirty and no one wanted it. I didn't even want it, but I just knew it was really undervalued, and that eventually all the delusional people that don't understand XRP but think they do, the XRP army, will buy it back up. And they'll buy my bags at much higher prices, and that's what they did. I sold them at $2.70, and they laughed at me. Oh, it's $3.60 now, bro. You sold too early, blah. I'm like, bro, I made like a 7-8x. It's about like 32 cents, and sold it at $2.70 2.5 years later. And I took that money and I put it into other things that did about a 10x from there. So laugh all you want. I think this, you know, if these projections stick, like, I think if this pattern stays, which it hasn't broken yet, it looks to me like Bitcoin could be 150 by the end of August, or but basically Labor Day if you're an American, late August, early September. I'll be watching that, obviously, but I can't fast forward time, so I have to wait. And then if this cycle stays on the same path and pattern as it always has in previous cycles, then we could see a parabola by the end of the year, and that would put Bitcoin somewhere around 350,000, and would move the total altcoin market, the total crypto market, by about 4x, and the total altcoin market excluding Ethereum about 5, and then the dirty altcoins about 8 to 10x from here, which would put us at about a total market cap of about 13 trillion, which would be, you know, about somewhere between 3.25 and 3.5x from here. What's your number one asset? Well, Bitcoin is my number one true asset. But the thing, the altcoin, the coin that I actually have current day has the most value if I were to cash it out right now, is MLG, Major League Gaming. It's a meme coin on Solana. Do not go buy it. Don't go buy it. Don't go ape into it. Don't do that dumb shit. I'm in it because I've been in it since it started. I'm very familiar with the community. I'm very familiar with every little move. I've watched the holder counts. I've watched the sellers. I've watched the influencers. I watched everything go through, and I've watched it get battle tested. I've watched the community. I get the theme. I get the ecosystem of it. I get it. I've been following it for well over a year since it started. If you go buy it, you're gonna fuck it up and lose money. I'm just gonna say that. You and I can both buy today. I'll make money, you'll lose money. So don't go buy it. And then my second biggest altcoin is Landwolf, the deepest beta leverage play of the Boys Club. Do I have a couple projects I'm watching, small or mid? Not really. I'm not really buying utility. I buy memes. Because if the market's gonna go up, they're gonna go up the most. And I don't buy new memes. I won't buy new memes. Because I think about every niche and preference and community at this point pretty much has a meme coin to represent it. So I don't think new meme coins will do very well. There'll be ones that are like momentary pop culture, like the America Party. Remember the America Party? Like, I'm like, oh, well, there's going to be a meme coin that does well for that temporarily. And I posted that in my Discord, and I said, here's the Sol one, here's the ETH one. Now I bought them both, sold one, dropped, ETH one 6x'd, and I sold it. And that was the top. And I don't think it's going to go higher than that. And I'll never touch it again. Because like whatever, it was a moment in time. Maybe if the America Party really starts taking off more, maybe it'll get resurrected. Maybe. But in the meantime, I don't see that. And when it gets more battle tested, because that one could, the one on ETH anyways, that one could live on. I haven't checked it in a little bit. But at the moment, the whole America Party, everything is down way low. I don't know if it's ever going to get anything. I don't know if it's really going to matter until like next year. So about a year from now, put it on your radar if it's still around. And Elon's still pushing it because we'll have midterms of 26. What's up? JEC, you're welcome. Thoughts on Ondo? Not for me. Thoughts on Litecoin? Not for me. Could you make money on them? Sure, but I think at this point you can make money on a lot of things, so I'm trying to figure out where I can make the most money. And to me, it still just screams established, battle-tested memes. I mean, I sold my Hyperliquid last night, all of it. I love Hyperliquid. I think I sold Hyperliquid at $46.70, which is about $3 below its all-time high. And I think Hyperliquid can get to $100. But that's a 2x from here. Could I take that money and put it somewhere else and get at least a 3x? Yeah. Possibly a 5 to 10? Yeah. So I took money off the table. I have sold all of my high quality stuff. I am in about 40% stablecoin and about 60% basically meme coin. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. I sold my Solana a little too early. I sold it at about 157 because it was coming up to resistance, and I'm like, that's good profit for me. I got an average price of like low 130s. That's nice. I'll just take it because I don't know what I'm going to use this cash for. And then I sold my Jupiter also at about 46 cents, average buy price of, 36 cents. So nice return, sold it a little early, but whatever. I don't try to get tops. And you gotta be okay with that. When you sell something and take money off the table and then it goes higher, you gotta get to a place where you don't give a shit. Because you know what? There will be another ball coming down the road. There'll be another one. There'll be another trade. There'll be another opportunity. Most of the time you should be doing nothing but waiting for the right pitch, and then you swing. Because you're gonna clock it. That's my opinion. Do whatever you want. Hyperlink ? That is what I'm talking about. And I love Hyperlink. Love Hyperliquid. Excuse me, no, Hyperliquid, not Hyperlink. I don't know what Hyperlink is. Hyperliquid. No Bitcoin? Yeah, I have Bitcoin, but I don't sell my Bitcoin. Yeah, I have Bitcoin, but I don't sell it. Like, I don't trade that, I don't sell it. Yeah, I have Bitcoin. But I have it just in cold storage, I don't touch it. And I will, the next time I'll meaningfully add, because technically I buy a little Bitcoin every day, technically, like a few bucks, just because of the card that I use. Technically I buy a little Ethereum every day too because of the card I use. But I probably won't meaningfully buy Bitcoin again until it's a ridiculous fat pitch where Bitcoin's at like probably well under 100,000, but I don't know. If it gets to 350, like I think it might by the end of the year, you know, a cyclical bear market for Bitcoin would probably put it in the 100,000s. We'd probably be praying for it to be where it is right now. As a matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. Let me look something up. I'm gonna show you something really valuable. Really, really valuable. I'm gonna show you this. And I can all but guarantee no one has ever shown this to you. And it is so incredibly valuable. It's this right here. This. Particularly the blue and yellow, okay? The blue and yellow lines above. This is just the price, I don't even care. Those blue and yellow lines. That is a very, very important gauge to add to your instrument panel. Do you guys get what I mean by now? By gauges and instrument panel? Do you guys put a 1 if you get what I mean by that? Put a 2 if you don't. I'm going to show you one of the most important gauges for buying or selling Bitcoin that exist that no one talks about. I don't really DCA, no. I buy when that thing tells me it's time to buy. And I don't really sell Bitcoin. So a few 1s, a 2. What I say by gauge, like if you think about like an airplane, if you step into a cockpit where the pilot is, you see all those different gauges on the instrument panel. Well, all those little gauges tell him something, tell him or her something. And when they put it all together, it tells them the entire environment and the entire situation. So every little chart I look at is a gauge, and all of them together are on my instrument panel, and all of them together give me a measurement of the entire environment. And everyone needs to have that, but most don't. And this is a very important one with when to buy and sell Bitcoin. So what's that say right there? Average mining cost for Bitcoin. Be honest. Be honest. Do you really think very often or ever about how much it costs to mine a Bitcoin? Let me know. A 1 if it's something you regularly think about. A 2 if it's something you don't really ever think about. Be honest. Where do you get the instrument panel? Through experience. All these things I'm showing you are part of my instrument panel. That's what I call it. It's an analogy. There isn't like one made, although maybe I should make one. All the time. Okay. About 50-50, yes and no. But how many of you actually know how much it costs to mine a Bitcoin? Tell me right now, how much does it cost to mine 1 Bitcoin? On average, at the moment. Give me the number. Any given day, I can tell you within $1,000 about what it costs to mine a Bitcoin. Trader says 89K. I'm fat. Fat. Okay. I don't know what to do about it. I like to eat at night. I don't really eat during the day until like 1 o'clock, and I get up at like 7. But at night, I like to eat. Anyways, 92.6. You went and looked it up. Good. Yeah, that's about exactly what it's at right now. So energy-wise, it costs about currently, on average, a little around $92,500 in energy cost. Now that doesn't include maintenance, labor, taxes, rent, upkeep, loan payments, all this other shit. So the reality is it costs well over $100,000 for your average miner to mine a Bitcoin. But energy costs about $92,500 on average currently. Okay? This is the chart, okay? The blue line is the average mining cost. The orange is the Bitcoin price, okay? Now, I don't know, I just want them to have this one. I don't want this down here, whatever, it doesn't matter. And this chart, pretty relevant, goes all the way back to November of 2015. So this is almost a 10-year-old chart. And back then, it cost about $177 to mine a Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was $328. So the orange line is Bitcoin price, the blue line is cost to mine, to produce a Bitcoin, okay? So if all you do is use that chart, when is a great time to buy Bitcoin? I'm connecting the dots. I'm sure you can do it. If all you're looking at is the price of Bitcoin and the cost to mine Bitcoin, when's the best time to buy Bitcoin? I'll let you guys answer. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. I'm gonna get some water. So the best time, CryptoLink got it right away, and IDA got it too. When the well, IDA didn't really get it, I guess. CryptoLink got it. Said when the price of Bitcoin is less than the mining cost. Yes, 100% ding, 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 that is the right answer. So like I said, I don't buy Bitcoin very often. The only time I buy it is when it costs less to just buy it than to make it. Because what's going to happen? The cost to buy it is going to go above the cost to make it, eventually. So if we go back to this chart, right here, you see the price is the orange line. It's mostly just a little above the blue line, except for right there. By the way, that little pump right there, the blue is the cost to mine. The orange is the price of a Bitcoin. Why did the cost to mine all of a sudden shoot up right here? Right, it shot up. It shot up from $474 on July 6th to $957. I mean, it essentially doubled in a matter of a couple weeks. What happened right there? Drop in the comments. There is a correct answer. And if you understand this stuff, you have a much better chance at winning in crypto. Because most people don't know this stuff. They don't even know they don't know this stuff, let alone how goddamn important it is. Have you hit the follow button yet? You following me here on YouTube? The energy cost went up. Yeah, why'd the energy cost double? Oh, you're saying the energy cost just shot up randomly. Good guess. Matt Carpenter got it. He said the halving. Yep. So all of a sudden, the amount of Bitcoin that can get mined got cut in half, which happens once about every 4 years. So what that means then is the cost to make one Bitcoin all of a sudden doubled. Because for whatever amount of energy, now you're getting half as much Bitcoin. So to get a whole Bitcoin, you have to put in twice as much energy. That's why there was all of a sudden a spike, because the halving happens in a moment, once about every 4 years. And you'll see it because it'll stand out on the chart. Happened right here, happened right here, and happened right here. Okay, that was the latest one that happened in April of last year. April of 24, May of 2020, and July of 2016. Okay, but you'll see, good time to buy Bitcoin right there, even though Bitcoin price went down. But what happened was, eventually this little spike here, it came down because miners turned off their miners, and then mining costs started working its way back up to this level, which is, let me line it up if they'll let me. When did it get there? Right there. In February of 2017, it finally got back to the mining cost of about 900 some bucks, and it dipped, and then it worked its way all the way up to here. December of 2017, mining costs got to 4,000, but the price of Bitcoin got to almost 20,000. Guess when the worst time to buy Bitcoin is? When the cost of Bitcoin is way above the cost to mine Bitcoin. This is what a parabola end of the bull market looks like. That was very pronounced. And then we went into a bear market. Look at that, right? Nowhere on here was the cost of Bitcoin, going all the way back to 2015, at no point was the cost of Bitcoin below the mining cost. And then all of a sudden over here in 2018, all of a sudden, cost of Bitcoin is less than the cost to mine it. Well, that's really rare. That screams amazing all-time value. It's rare. Buy big time. But guess what? This is when people are shitting themselves and will not buy anything. And then what happens? Bitcoin price goes above, bad time to buy. Then it goes over here, goes under. This is COVID right here. Look at that. Even with COVID, cost of Bitcoin barely. It's not showing it because I know Bitcoin went down to about 3,000. But look, right, during COVID, Bitcoin went down to 5, cost to mine was 8,500. Great time to buy. Right here, during the halving, good time to buy too. 9,000 compared to 15,000 to mine. Now it levels out like it does after the halving, but then what happened? Boom. Look at this gigantic gap. That was top of the bull market in 2017, top of the bull market in 2021. Here was the bear market in 2022. Look at this. Bitcoin's at 16,000 at the end of the year. Mining cost is 22,000. Again, you get your second opportunity, right? Here was a great opportunity to buy, right? This goes all the way back to 2015. You have to wait. Look. November of 2015. Bitcoin price is above mining costs the entire time until November, December of 2018. So you have to wait 3 years for a real fat pitch buying opportunity to come in. Okay? And then it doesn't happen again. And it only happens for a moment. Happens during COVID for like a couple weeks. Right? 1.5 years later. And then it doesn't happen again until, what do you know, November, December of 22, right? So from 2015 till the end of 22, right, we're talking 7 years. You had 1, 2, 3 opportunities to buy Bitcoin. That's all. It's rare. And what happened over here? Oh, that was what I was talking about. And then it kind of stayed under there, stayed really close, hugging it close. Good time to buy, good time to buy. And then it popped up. And then mining costs caught up. Because you know when the halving is going to happen, people were buying Bitcoin ahead of the halving. Everyone's like, oh my God, 74,000 before the halving. Yeah, 74,000 before the halving. Because the current cost to mine is 43. So when the halving happens in April, the cost to mine is going to be like 80. So if you're buying at 74 in March, a month before the halving, you're getting a deal because you know that the cost of Bitcoin is going to go up to 80 because that's what the mining cost goes up to. And then you had a little opportunity, and you had opportunity back here. This was last summer when I was like, listen, Bitcoin's in the 50s, mining cost is 80, Bitcoin's in the 50s. fantastic time to buy. And the cost to mine, that blue line, it only goes up. Let me ask you real quick. The cost to mine Bitcoin, which way does that go over time? Up and to the right. And how long will it do that for? Forever. If you're a Sandlot fan. Forever. So when the only time to buy Bitcoin, this is what I do. I don't DCA. When it costs less to buy Bitcoin than to mine it, I shove. So I buy Bitcoin about once every 3-4 years, but I buy fucking heavy. And I gotta wait 3-4 years. I bought back in the 50s last summer when I was telling everybody, look, here's the data. There's no emotion here. This tells me exactly how this game goes. No deviation. Have you hit the follow button on this channel yet? I think you turn your phone sideways and then it'll pop up. You'll be able to follow, I think. Thank you, Matt Carpenter. So, like I said, most of the time you should do nothing. I mean, keep paying attention always, stay informed, but don't be neurotic. Don't be schizo. Don't be anxious. Just wait. And when that fat, slow floating fucking beach ball comes your way for you to swing at, it will stand out like a beach ball being thrown at you instead of a baseball. You will know, oh, this is what I swing at. But you don't want to fall asleep, because being patient for several years, you could zone out and let it pass you by. Getting caught up in the societal hypnosis of shit. So Divyesh brings up a question. I think it's a question. Says ETH max supply infinite. Then why are there so many prices and demand? Well, I'm talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin supply is finite, 21 million. And what really matters is the available supply, more so than the actual supply. If you guys want, I'll go into that. But I feel like, let me ask you real quick. I'll come back to your question. I think it's a question. Divyesh, I'll say this. I'll finish answering your question. Technically, the ETH max supply is infinite. Technically. But it's not. But it's really not. It could go to zero. Like, the supply can also go to zero. Did you know that? Because if the ETH network gets used more in periods when the ETH network has more demand, aka more people using it, the supply actually decreases, gets burned. But in periods where there's less usage, the supply does increase. Let me show you a site. And don't argue with me on this. Just don't. I'm telling you right now, don't argue with me on this. Ultrasound.money. This was when the ETH merge happened, aka ETH went from proof of work to proof of stake. After the merge, the supply decreased. It became deflationary. And then after this point right here, in about April of 24, it became inflationary again. In other words, the usage of the network decreased, and that was really because of layer 2s. and it's been increasing. So over the last 2 years, almost 3 years now, this is how much more ETH there is. It went from 120,500,000 to 120,900,000. That's not significant. You got to ask yourself, is ETH usage going to increase over time? Yeah, definitely is. So overall, I think over the course of Ethereum's future, it will probably, the inflation and deflation will continue to be pretty irrelevant. I can't. I don't know what goes down 50% every 4 years. I couldn't guarantee any. I'm not sure what you're referencing, Matt Carpenter. What was I gonna say? So, by the way, I talked about my instrument panel. This is obviously on my instrument panel because when these big gaps happen, like Bitcoin price going way above mining costs like it did here and here, this means that people were very much overpaying for Bitcoin. We have not, I repeat, not had that yet, okay? I expect that we will see a gap between Bitcoin price and mining cost. Probably be a smaller gap than this, right? This gap was huge. This gap at its peak was about, 20,000 to 3,000. So people were paying 6 times as much for Bitcoin as it cost to mine. Crazy. Over here at the peak, people were paying about 3 times as much for Bitcoin as it cost to mine. And I think roughly the same thing over here, yeah. Paying about 3 times as much for Bitcoin as it cost to mine. So I think once we see over here, this was 6 times, 3 times. So if we cut that in half, anything over people paying 50% to 100% more for Bitcoin than it costs to mine should really start setting off your alarm bells. Yeah, Matt Carpenter, I mean, if the charts, the way I look at them, hold out, we could see, I'm just not going to say, I'll just say a $350,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. The charts show me it's on the table. It's on the table. Is it going to happen for sure? No. Do I think it's definitely going to happen? No. Do I think it's more likely to happen than not? No. But I think it's possible enough that we need to leave it on the table. What seems even more possible to me is that Bitcoin's at 150 by the end of August, early September, aka Labor Day weekend. Give or take a few weeks. And then it's possible that just continues its trajectory, actually increases its trajectory to hit, north of 300 by November, December. Very possible. But the first mile marker to check is Bitcoin to 150 by Labor Day, give or take a couple weeks. That's the first mile marker. If that happens, the possibility of hitting 300s by the end of the year meaningfully increases. But I'm not married to any outcome. The only outcome I'm married to is that I know for certain, that I feel certain. Drop in the comments if you know. The only outcome that I actually say I'm 100% certain on. Drop in the comments. Thank you all for hanging out with me over here on YouTube today, by the way. I'm so sick of TikTok. I'm so sick of them basically putting a gun to my head on a regular basis. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Matt Carpenter, that is correct. That's the only thing I know for sure, is that over time, Bitcoin price will just continue to go up and up and up. It's the only thing I know for sure. So that's my North Star, my guiding light. Will I buy Bitcoin before Labor Day? No. I buy Bitcoin when the cost of Bitcoin is less than mining cost. That's the only time I meaningfully buy Bitcoin. And when I buy it, I fucking buy it. There's no dipping my toe in the jacuzzi. I'm doing a goddamn cannonball into the kiddie pool. It's rare. But only about once every 3 to 4 years does this Bitcoin price go below mining cost. And the last opportunity you had was last summer. And everyone was too busy diarrheaing their diapers because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Walking around pretending they do. Not realizing they're walking in a landmine field, thinking it's a goddamn hippie meadow. Oh, Garrett, yeah, that's true. Shit, I didn't even think about that, because I do that too, Garrett. Like, I consume YouTube almost only, YouTube and Twitter. But YouTube is like 98% of my social media consumption. And I'm exactly with you. I pay for YouTube Premium, and so I can just close the screen and listen. I really just use it as a podcast. And if there's something I want to look at, if they start talking about something that I need to see, I can just open my phone up and look quick. And also what I like about YouTube is this live stream here, it's being automatically recorded and will be published on my YouTube channel for you to watch later. That doesn't happen on TikTok. Matt says, I'm going to save everything to buy Bitcoin. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I mean, if Bitcoin gets into the 300s before this cyclical bull run is over, it's very possible you won't be able to even buy it at these prices ever again. So I'm not out of the market. I just don't play in Bitcoin unless it's deep value. And by deep value, my definition is that Bitcoin price is less than mining cost. Cryptolin, you follow me on Twitter too. Thank you, buddy. By the way, anyone else want to follow Cryptolin's shoes? I'm Daily Crypto Bull everywhere. TikTok, of course. Here, of course. But then Instagram and Twitter, aka X. I'll probably always call it Twitter though. Premium is the best, JP. I agree, dude. Like, so good. Like, anytime someone hands me their phone to show me like something on YouTube, an ad plays, and I'm like, oh yeah, YouTube plays ads. Like, completely forget YouTube even plays ads because I never see them on my phone. Thanks, Ida. Thanks for following me on X. JP, thanks for following me everywhere. Matt says your charts and explanations have convinced me now. Convinced you? I mean, good. I'm glad. But of what specifically? I mean, like, I'm never going to have the biggest following. I'm kind of abrasive. I'm kind of harsh. I'm kind of technical. But to me, that's the best way I can help people, is to not give a flying fuck about your feelings, because the market does not care about your feelings. Maybe it does, but it cares to hurt your feelings. It wants to inflict pain on you. If it cares about your feelings at all, it wants to make sure you feel bad ones. So I can't be vanilla. I can't care about your feelings. I can't care about your bags. I can't care about any of it if I actually want to have any kind of impact for you. And I got to teach you what I look at. And yeah, you got to learn how to do it. I'm going to talk over your head a lot. I don't mean to. It's just, but I'm going to say the same things kind of over and over, and it's going to start to kind of settle in and digest over time. Thanks, Carpenter. Of the steady, inevitable rise of Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. Check this out. Lifetime chart of Bitcoin. Lifetime chart. Lifetime chart. Going all the way back. This goes back to October of 09. Makes a high, makes a low. Makes a higher high, a higher low. A higher high, a higher low. A higher high, a higher low, a higher high. I don't know how high it's going to go, but it's going to make a higher low. This is a perpetual bull run. A perpetual uptrend with no deviation. But what about when it goes down? That's a higher low. Nothing goes up in a straight line. It goes up and down. And then when it goes up again, you want it to go up higher. And then when everybody goes down, you want to make sure it doesn't go down as low as it did before. And if it can continue that, that's called a perpetual bull run. That's called a perpetual uptrend. And Bitcoin is in a forever uptrend. Let me show you one more thing. Let me show you one more thing. So Bitcoin going up over time is also inversely related to dollar doing nothing but going down over time. This goes all the way back to, I don't know, whenever the Federal Reserve was enacted, 19 or something, or 1920, something like that. The buying power of the dollar has done nothing but go down. And this only goes to 2020. It's worth significantly less than there. Bitcoin will continue to go up. Gold will continue to go up. Many stocks, the stock market, SP 500, will continue to go up. And the dollar will forever continue to go down. It's not just the dollar, all currencies will continue to go down. Because money is a thing. And people confuse the dollar or the yen or the euro or the pound or the loonie, whatever, for money. And it is money, but it's not mutually exclusive. Those things are currencies, which is a form of money, which is a shitty form of money that only goes down over time and buys less and less and less and less and less. AKA inflation. I've talked about a lot today. Do you guys want me to go over the properties of money? Fiat currency's not dead. And it won't be for a long time. It just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Something can get weaker forever. Let me know. Put a 1 if you want me to go over the properties of money. Put a 2 if you're like, this has been a lot. I don't think I can handle that today. That's fine. Totally fine. I'll bring it up another time. And then another time after that. Because there's only so many things I talk about. Because to me, they're the only things that are really worth talking about, which is the gauges on my instrument panel. And if I add a new gauge, I'll tell you about it and I'll talk about it all the time. I'm constantly talking about the gauges on my instrument panel. Some ones coming in. All right. So money has properties, right? And that's how you grade it, right? Grade it. Let me see if I can just find an infographic showing the properties of money. Actually, this is a really good one right here. It's actually put up by Bitcoin Magazine. Good, about time. Oh, actually, I think it's almost a couple years old. Let me find it. Well, guys, don't make me read a whole article. Just give it to me. So the properties of money are right there. 9 properties: durability, portability, divisibility, fungibility, scarcity, verifiable, history, censorship resistance, and smart programmability. History is, I guess you can put that there. But in each of those properties, some of those properties matter more than others, right? And what they did here, and this is what I always do too, is I compare Bitcoin to the gold to the dollar as 3 forms of money, and then grade them based on the properties. Check this out. So here are the grades they give it. For durability, gold high, fiat moderate, Bitcoin high. Bitcoin's the highest. Portability, moderate, kind of a pain in the ass to carry gold around, isn't it? Fiat, pretty carryable. Bitcoin, they say high, but it's actually the most portable. Divisible, meaning that, gold, you can break it down to grams and ounces and stuff like that. Fiat, you can break it down to a penny. Bitcoin, you can break it down to a Satoshi, which is a fraction of a penny. Very divisible. Fungible, meaning that you can clearly identify it, and each one is exactly the same, right? An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. A dollar is a dollar. A Bitcoin is a Bitcoin. They're all very high there. Scarcity, gold, moderate, because no one really knows how much gold is sitting in the ground. They always mine more of it. We don't know what the limit is. Fiat, scarcity, that's laughable because they can print to infinity. Bitcoin, there's 21 million. Verifiable, gold, you can verify gold, usually I do a chemical test or something, but you can verify it. Fiat, you can verify it, but Bitcoin, you can instantly verify it on the blockchain. Established history, gold the highest, fiat moderate, because it's been around least time, Bitcoin's been around the least, okay? Censorship resistant, gold, kind of, if you try to carry your gold outside the country, good luck. Fiat, they can just block it or freeze your accounts anytime they want. Bitcoin, they can't do a goddamn thing as long as you have it in your own wallet. If you have it sitting on Coinbase or something, yeah, you could get censored. But you can have it yourself. Smart, programmable, easy to use, gold, 0. Fiat, you can do that, but Bitcoin the highest. So other than established history, Bitcoin is ranked the highest of the best versions of money in history. I rest my fucking case. How many people have ever heard of properties of money? They think their dollar is money, and that is money is money is money is money. The reality is everything is money. Anything that you can exchange for something else, a good or a service, is money. This is money. If you're traveling and you really need a mouse to do some work, you might pay me $100 for this mouse. But if I walk by you on the street, you might pay me $5, or you may not want it at all. But this is money. I can exchange it for other things, goods or services, or other forms of liquid money. So that mouse is money. This cup is money. What? It's worth like nothing. Who's going to pay for that? Remember circumstances. There's times when there's no cups around and you're in the middle of a desert and there's a little bit of water and you want to carry it with you. How are you going to do that? Well, this cup all of a sudden becomes worth a fuckload, doesn't it? This is money. This is money. It's all money. Thing is, the greatest trick they've ever played on us is to teach us to value bad money. Fancy clothes, bad money. Fancy shoes, bad money. Fancy cars, bad money. Alcohol, bad money. Drugs, bad money. The issue with crypto, if our system goes down. Ida, please explain, please elaborate on that. What system? Oh shit, Star Wars is on. Wow, I've been live on here for like 2 hours. How would you access without a functioning computer? You wouldn't. But whenever you get to a computer, your Bitcoin will be sitting right there. Thanks, Carpenter. Best meme coins on Base Network. Tyler, I say this because I actually want to see you win. It's a terrible question. It's a question that's probably going to lead you to more pain than glory. No one can answer that for you. You need to make that decision yourself. Because there's so much more that goes into it than like a coin tip. It's becoming part of the ecosystem, understanding how that entity breathes and moves and reacts and responds. But, I'd say Brett is the top meme coin on Base. I think that's pretty objective. Ida, I feel like you were trying to ask a question. I don't feel like I answered your question, and I don't think you asked the full question. I'll just say it. You mean like if the internet goes down and we go into an oblivion and there's no internet and it's all gone, some big EMP burst and now we don't have the internet anymore? Then money's going to change and it's going to be called guns and butter. Fiat currency's not going to matter. Gold's not going to matter. Clean water is going to become like the most amazing form of money. Toilet paper is going to become money. Bullets are going to become money in that environment. Two hours, you missed most of it. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon. We've talked about a lot. Medicine, it's a good point, Carpenter. Yeah. Boy, medicine would be very valuable. Antibiotics, vitamins. But that's the point. And everyone always eventually in their journey asks that question. So I knew what you were getting at. The point is like, yeah, if the internet goes down, it's not just Bitcoin that's gone. It's all the money is gone. The world is in fucking Mad Max Thunderdome. Not an exaggeration. It's a fucking apocalypse if that happens. And our, societal, civilized forms of money will not matter at all. Piece of gold, you go throw it at someone as a weapon. It's not tradable. Eventually, when we get more civilized, yeah, we'd probably go back to like gold or certain kinds of rocks, and depending on which tribe or community you're trading with or interacting with or part of, we would go back to fucking thousands of years ago. And if that, likelihood that's very small. It's just not something to think about, unless you're a prepper. And then you already know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not really a prepper, but I probably should be more prepared in case stuff like that ever does happen. The Canadian truckers, when their government was unhappy with them, no shit, right? That's what they can do. Oh, you're not, it's just COVID thing and everyone's locked down and supposed to wear masks, but no, you guys got to drive. Oh, you don't want to? Well, too bad, then we're taking your money, holding you hostage until you do. What? Exactly. Can't do that with your Bitcoin. You can't do that. Don't leave it on Coinbase. Don't leave it on some Binance. Don't leave it on some centralized exchange. Be sure that you are in possession of it. Would be like Neanderthal, yeah, basically. I mean, we'd be nomads, right? I mean, it'd be the most, then skills of like hunting and fishing and all this stuff. People that are really good at that will have the best chance. Yeah, it's just not even worth talking about, because if it happens, fuck. Yeah, pepper. Yeah. Then you know as well as anyone that current forms of money would be more than useless, less than useless. Stacking is a good passive income strategy. Well, it's not passive income really, Tyler. It's kind of a passive investing, I guess. But I laid out here a bit ago when I buy Bitcoin, and I really only buy Bitcoin about once every 3 to 4 years. But when I buy I buy as heavy as I possibly can. So I don't really stack. I mean, technically, because of different cards that I use, that just every purchase I do and gift card I buy, like it gives me Bitcoin back, like cash back, or gives me Bitcoin back or Ethereum back. So technically I buy some every day, technically, but not any meaningful amounts, any means. What's a cold wallet? Well, I think, Ida, you should search for that on YouTube and watch some videos on it. That will answer your question far better than I could right now, because it'll actually show you. It's all part of the journey. And there's no end. There's no, ooh, that was such a good journey, I know everything now. That doesn't happen. You can just continually learn more and more and more and more, and then eventually you just know more than most people. And then, I don't know what else to say. Like I've been in crypto over 8 years. This is my third cyclical bull market. There's only been 4. So I've made a lot of mistakes. I have had a lot of pain. I've had some wins. I have been through the gamut, and that gamut will continue. But I realized that the most valuable thing in this whole space, in any investing or finance space or anything in life, is to become educated and experienced, and continually become more educated and experienced, continually more knowledgeable and experienced. And there's just no substitute. There just is not. And if you think there is, or if you try to do a shortcut, or you try to avoid it in any way, you will pay the price, a much higher price, a much more painful price than if you just took the thing on head on. Guaranteed. As guaranteed as Bitcoin going up in price forever. You meant staking? I wouldn't really look at that as passive income either. I mean, it's a passive way to stack an asset. But I don't really stake. Don't get me wrong, I get yield, but I don't stake. I do a little bit more advanced stuff than that. Not that it's like way harder or something, it's just less risky, less inconvenient, and more yield, more return. Agreed, bought my first crypto last Monday. What'd you buy, Ida? What'd you buy? I mean, if you're that new to crypto, you should only be buying Bitcoin, in my opinion. And that's the only thing you should be buying. That is it. That is all. That is the only thing you should be buying. Tyler, liquidity pools, not really. I mean, sometimes, but not really. Lots of times you end up losing money on liquidity pools. So when I do those, it's very temporary. Yeah, Ida, seriously, if you're that new, just completely trust me when I say the only thing you should buy is Bitcoin right now. There you go. Good, glad to hear. And because everyone needs to earn their right to risk. And if you're, most people, frankly, in crypto should only be buying Bitcoin even though they've been here for years. Because they think they know more than they do. And they don't. They don't understand the nuances of the way these different pockets of the market intertwine and react and move together. And I can't say that I do, because it changes. So I do my best to gauge it. And I really find positions I'm very well studied and experienced in, and therefore have real, not just conviction, not like blind conviction, but like strong understanding of why I'm in it. And then I'm in it and I wait. And like I said, I sold actually all of my, what people would deem as lower risk crypto stuff. I sold it all, officially sold it all as of last night. Like my Solana, my Hyperliquid, stuff like that, like top 10 crypto coin stuff. Not my Bitcoin, I don't sell my Bitcoin. My ETH sort of, I really just swapped it into ETH, a different form of ETH in my opinion. And I'm probably sitting down about 40% of my portfolio as stablecoin, yield-bearing stablecoin, and then about 60% in higher risk stuff. So it really kind of balances each other out, right? Because I leave myself open to a lot of upside, but if it goes the wrong way, that heavy cash position really minimizes my losses and allows me to come in and swoop up at deep discounts. But if it goes up, I'm not too greedy. And I lean more of having some buying opportunities coming as opposed to some big parabola. I think I'll have better buying opportunities. I think I sold my Solana and Jupiter a little early, but that's okay. I sold my Hyperliquid last night near its all-time high, within 10% of its all-time high. And it's down since then, last time I checked. And maybe I'll just buy some Hyperliquid back with it, but I'll use that money and I will have more Hyperliquid than I did have before. So that's cool. Or maybe I'll use a portion to buy some Hyperliquid and a portion to go deeper down the risk curve, but I'm gonna be patient and wait. You know, if things rip, I'm not gonna feel bad like, oh, I should have just stayed and all that stuff. Because it's not about one move, it's about the long game and positioning yourself in a good balance of upside, maximized upside to minimize downside. And if I'm completely deployed at Bitcoin all-time highs and Ethereum coming up to resistance, Solana coming up to resistance, Hyperliquid at all-time highs, XRP at all-time highs, like, seems like I should just take a good chunk off the table at all-time highs, but not completely leave myself unexposed. Whereas the things that I'm in, like if those things take off, I'm gonna get the maximum return on the things I'm in. But if they go down, I'm gonna have a minimized decrease in my portfolio because I'm so cash heavy. So, yeah. Whereas if I stayed in those things, you know, maybe they get a 2x, okay. But the other things I'm in, they might get a 10x. So most of my gains are gonna come from my higher risk positions anyways. And so are most of my losses, but my losses are dramatically minimized by being in about 40% stablecoin. I learned the hard way. There's almost no other way to learn. We all are going to get smacked up, beat up, kicked around, no doubt. I have very little battery on my phone. I have very little battery. I should probably get off this stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. Be sure to follow me on all the socials. Right? If you're not following me here yet, follow me. What are you doing? Instagram, Twitter. I'm Daily Crypto Bull on all of them. I'm gravitating and moving towards doing more stuff, and hopefully I want to do basically only stuff. I want to be doing 80-90% of my stuff on YouTube. I want to move off of TikTok for two reasons. Number one, I'm tired of dealing with everything involved with TikTok. Is it going to stick around? Is it going to get banned? And number two, are they going to ban me? I'm tired of them. I did a live stream last Thursday, and I was sitting here talking crypto, and all of a sudden my stream just disappeared, and a thing popped up that said account strike. You were talking about frauds and scams. Here's a strike on your account. If you do it one more time, your account is banned. I'm like, and then I appealed it, and they overturned it. So I'm like, okay, at least they took that strike away. But I'm so sick of that. So I want to use a different platform. And I like YouTube more than TikTok as a user by far. As it like, and then I feel most people on TikTok probably use YouTube anyways. So here we are. And when I do this live stream, like, you can watch it later because it'll automatically publish to my channel, where in TikTok it doesn't do that. All right, y'all. I am, Ida says alerts for lives are set. Awesome. Yeah. Turn on that alarm bell too. For the meantime, I'll start the live streams off on TikTok, and I'll just be nervous, thinking they're gonna fucking try to ban me. It's so nerve-wracking. But today, once I got on YouTube, it's like, oh, this feels so nice. I feel like I can just talk and not be so nervous. But other than that, I should get going on my phone. It has like 20% battery. It's gonna die soon. Maybe 20%. Either way, I still need to use it for other things. All right, y'all. Talk to you soon.